Collaboration is a crucial Smart Lab principle and is highlighted by the groups feature in Learning Hub. For your students to have the full experience in Learning Hub, it is crucial that you either manually enroll students in groups or students can self enroll in a group. If students are not placed in a group, they will not see the assignments found within the project starters. Considering this, you'll want to ensure before a new project cycle that you set aside prep time for you to manually enroll students in groups or to set aside class time for students to self enroll in a group. You can place students from each section into specific groups based on the project starter they are completing together. When learners are enrolled in a group together, assignments submitted by any group member will show up for all group members in the assignments tool. This will allow learners to submit one assignment for their group, enhancing their collaboration and efficiency in completing SmartLab projects as a pair or trio. By submitting assignments for all group members, when you grade a submitted assignment, all grades and all feedback are provided to all the students in the group, saving you precious grading time. You can access groups in your school course by clicking on class management in the navigation bar and then clicking on groups. In your Learning Hub course, categories of groups have already been created for you. So, for example, let's say a category has been created in our 3 through 5 grade course for squishy circuits, circuit basics. Automatically, in the category for each individual project starter, 10 groups have been generated for your use. Students are able to self enroll into these groups, or you can manually enroll students into groups. If during the year you need to create more groups for each project starter, simply click on the down arrow beside the project starter name and then click Add Group. As previously mentioned, you have options on how you want to assign students to these groups. Either you can manually enroll students into groups, or you can let students self enroll themselves into groups. You'll have to decide what method works the best for you and your students. To manually enroll students into specific groups, you'll need to identify what project starter a group of students will be working on. So for this example, let's stay with Squishy Circuits Circuit Basics. Then click on the down arrow beside the project starter name and click Enroll Users. This will give you access to your entire class list that will let you assign users to a group. You simply just need to click on the checkbox corresponding to their name and what group you would like those students to be in. Once you are done assigning your students, all you need to do is press save. Once students are assigned to groups, you will be able to see what members you assign by clicking on the 2 out of 2. You can see what group members are in each one of these groups. And you'll have access to look at their group locker. Their group locker allows them to share files amongst one another, and you, as the facilitator, will be able to view what those files are. For students to self enroll into groups, there is no pre work needed on your end. Right now, I'm logged in as a student, so I can show you how students can self enroll themselves into groups. First, they need to be in their school course, and then they click class management and then groups. Next, they are going to have to click on view available groups. Students are going to see a large list of group categories. You will have to direct them to find the product starter they are going to work on. They can use the Control F feature and search for their specific project starter you want them to work on. For this example, let's say this demo student will work on Squishy Circuits Circuit Basics. So they need to find that in the category heading. Once they have located their project starter, they need to self-enroll themselves into a group. On the first day of a project cycle, you can have the students just pick the next available group with no users enrolled. This doesn't make a difference to you in terms of organization or management or grading. It just makes it easier for students to self enroll. Whatever you decide to do, you'll need to make sure you communicate your expectations with the students to what group number you'll want them to self enroll in, the process of self enrollment, and when during a project cycle they will need to enroll in an available group. If you have students self enroll in the next available group, they can identify this information by looking at the number of members in the group. A group that is available will either have 1 out of 2 or 0 out of 2 members. Once identified, students can go ahead and click Join Group. Once clicked, students will be redirected to show all the groups that they are currently in. And this could include any and all past project starters they have completed. Our student here is currently just in one group. When students have completed multiple project starters in different groups, they will see this list under My Group. But of course, they are only going to want to deal with the current project starter they're currently working on. Students can see who else is in their group by clicking Members. They can access the shared group assignments for the project starter by clicking under Assignments. They can also start sharing files with their group locker. And so they can go ahead and upload files, and the partner will also have access to these same files. And you'll notice that the last column is Leave Group. So, yes, the students have flexibility to join and leave groups, but this is incredibly important to note. If they leave a group, they lose all submissions and grades for any assignment submitted for that group. You will want to make sure you communicate to your students that once they join a group, to never leave that group after they have submitted an assignment. So, by utilizing the groups created by the project starter, students again can easily share files with each other using that group locker. And this really increases collaboration. It's also helpful for when a student is absent in class. If their files are shared in their group locker, other group members still have access to important files or documents in that group locker. So, utilizing groups has great benefits. But again, it is super important to note that once a student leaves a group, they lose access to the group locker with shared files and documents, and they lose all submissions, grades, and feedback for that assignment. Especially if you have students self enroll in their groups, you'll want to make sure you communicate that if they leave a group, they lose everything.